All right, welcome everyone.
Welcome.
We have a little setback, and Sue has gone to correct the apprentice, that back page of the minutes, so you have them, but you've also got them electronically.
Electronically, yeah.
So, we'll be all set when we come to the minutes in a few minutes. So,
Electronically.
I'd like to welcome our guests, and we have many guests here. So, would you like to introduce them all? You know everybody.
Sure.
So we'll let Liz do the introductions of our guests.
Okay, we'll start in the back. We have Fire Chief, Chief Wadzinski. We have Brian, the manager.
Yeah, I'll be the project manager for the town of Littleton for the library project.
Then we have Ryan, our Salem State intern. We have Sam Alvarez, library director. We have Bill
Maloney of Commodore Builders.
from the builders. We have Mark Rombacher, library trustee.
Chair.
Chair.
Trustees. All right.
Dottie, Barbara, Nancy from the Friends.
So
And Sue
welcome.
Raven.
Welcome everyone. And we have full set of minutes. Thank you. All right. Just a quick reminder: this is an open meeting, and we must adhere to the open meeting law. And I will quickly do the announcements. They're brief, and then we're going to change the order a little bit on our agenda because we did not know we were going to have our guests, and we don't want them to be tied up any longer than necessary. If that's okay with everybody? You'll give me the authority to move things around on my own here for a few minutes. So, thank you. I have two announcements. As everyone knows, as a board member, there is a yearly requirement that we avail and take ourselves to some kind of a training session during the course of the year regarding elders and seniors. And so therefore, Dr. Jamie Eldridge always has a senior conference every year. And I know Patty and I attended last year, and that is coming up, and this is an opportunity to get some education. There are it's set up so that there are several sessions you can choose from, to attend when you go. There's no charge. It's convenient. It's right in Marlboro. It's not far. So I would encourage you. The other thing that people have done in the past is gone to sessions with
Emmett.
Thank you. Had a senior moment there myself. With Emmett, and I don't know, I haven't heard of any lately, and I don't know if he's going to be holding any, but anyway, just for your information, so that you can take advantage of it if you're available that day. And the second announcement is, first, let me not forget this, at the last Friends Luncheon in February, this necklace was found on a table, and this is really for our viewers. It is, I'm told, a necklace of it. The items attached here are Italian horns, and we're trying to find the owner. So if you're watching and you know of somebody, even if it's an R2, somebody that had a history of wearing a necklace, this type of a necklace, please let them know to call the COA office. It will be in the office. And they have been trying very hard. They've asked everybody, more than once, if they know who this might belong to. So, just a quick little thing. And the other thing I want to mention real quick is that we have to keep our manuals updated. And as I was doing the training this year for the conflict of interest, I looked at what I printed out when I was done with my training and compared it to what was in our manual, and we don't have the current one in the manuals. So this is the current summary of the conflict of interest law for municipal employees. You have a copy in your packets with 3 holes punched in it. Please get it into your manuals so that your manual is up to date. Okay. Any other announcements for anyone? Yes. Ann Lee.
Okay, I have 2 on March 28th at the First Baptist Church here in Littleton. We will be having our Memory Cafe again from 10 to noon, and that's open to anybody. And this month we're going to be doing some Easter crafts and spring games, and just getting to know each other. So everybody's invited. If you're new and you can you're going to come just for the sake of crafts, if you could maybe call the First Baptist Church and leave a message saying you're coming as a new person so that I have enough for everybody to do. And then on April 6th, it's a Monday at 7 o'clock at night, there is a new support group that is going to be started on that night, grandparents raising grandchildren. So in any form, you may have full custody or whatever, or you may just be helping out. No matter what, as grandparents, it infringes on our ability to have our own life.
Where?
And it's going to be held at the First Baptist Church in Littleton at 7 o'clock.
And this is in conjunction with the COA.
Mhm.
These two programs, both are, they're just held not at the COA.
Right, they're both held at
Just so
the
everybody
Baptist
understands that.
Church.
Yep.
Yeah, and anybody, and it doesn't have to be a Littleton resident either, it can be from surrounding towns. A lot of our people who come to Memory Cafe aren't from Littleton, and we're hoping that we can get folks from all over the area to participate in the grandparents raising grandchildren.
Even if you just take care of them. I know I take care of my grandchildren periodically for 2 or 3 days at a time, so I'm sure it'd be helpful information.
Right.
Yes, Bob?
I think we ought to express our condolences as a board to Bill Monahan's family and to Peg McLaughlin's family, both of whom have been actively working with the COA. One is an employee and one is a tax person, but on the phones for many, many years.
Yeah, yes, Peg worked down in the office, and Bill obviously was a wonderful van driver who was sorely missed. They both are missed. So thank you for reminding us about that.
For both of us.
Yep.
And thank you for the flowers from the board.
Yes, the flowers from the board were beautiful if you did not go to the funeral home. And they were right inside the door as you entered. And
That's nice.
they were quite lovely. So, thank you all for supporting that. Okay. Any other announcements? Moving on then. I'll turn it over to Liz. We have, as I said, some guests. We do have the, we knew we were going to try to have the library people with us. And I don't see that down here, but we had that.
New library update.
Oh,
number 6.
Number
oh,
six.
number 6.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, and we have our fire chief with us who would like to speak to us about a very important issue. So, Liz, I'll let you go
Sure.
on.
Chief, do you want to come up and I'll kind of give a preface?
Do you want to do the
We have a guest
first
chair.
and get- So they can go in case this gets into depth?
Up to you.
Oh, wait,
Um,
I don't know. What do you think?
Up to you guys.
It's up to you. Do you have the time?
I have time. I mean, if you want to do these guys.
okay, sure. Thank you, Chief.
All right.
So
So
we'll skip
we'll
that.
move. You want to move the library people up?
Sure, let's do library if you don't mind. We have some extra chairs.
We can pull a second chair up. If you come up to the table and speak, then people that are watching on TV get to hear you. They don't hear you too well if you're over there, so just grab.
You're televised.
Yeah, you didn't know that, huh?
Do we need
So,
a chair?
come up where it says guest, and then, or you can come separately, but we can pull us up, and I think there's room to fit another chair in
Yep.
there.
Sure.
And that way, you can sit over here if you want, sure, that'll work.
And we could try to make this quick. I think we just wanted to introduce ourselves to the board. My name's Brian Forrest. I'm with Vertex Companies. I'll be the project manager for the new library project for the town of Littleton. In this project, we've already hired our construction manager, and the project manager for them is Phil Balboni for Commodore Builders. So we're currently in the process of going through all the paperwork to sign on our filed subcontractors, and we're looking to start construction hopefully, say early June? Yes. That's safe to say? So with that, and with construction, there's going to be some alterations to our parking lot. What we've asked Commodore Builders to do is to supply us with a logistics plan for the site, where their temporary facilities are going to be and where the construction's going to be, which is going to impact some of the parking in the corner. what we've done is we've worked with all of the town departments that use this facility, and we've had them take a pass at it. I know Liz has seen it as well. They've provided some comments on it, and we've tried to update it accordingly. As it pertains to the COA, I think one thing we're going to try is possibly add some signage on fencing to try to reserve some spots for the COA for the distance to the building. During construction, I'll have a representative that's on site full-time, as well as Phil. So we'll be sure to be sending out all contact information to Liz so that everyone, if there's any questions or concerns, we can be reached at any time, including off hours. So,
Brian, so this mainly affects the parking spaces that are right outside the courtyard.
that's correct.
Right.
Yes,
So our-
it would be right outside the courtyard, and then also the spaces, we'll call that little courtyard area. It will be the spaces that are closest to the baseball field, almost to the second telephone pole. So it's about 8 to 10 spots that would be on the baseball field side, and the fence, the contractor fence, is gonna create almost like a polygon around that. There will be some time throughout the period of construction, we don't have our schedule hammered out completely, where we're gonna be doing some utility work in the driveway, where that will be off limits for a certain amount of time. We'll give everybody a heads up to give as much advance notice as possible, and we'll have a traffic plan to be distributed to everyone to make sure they know the entrance and exits at that time. I don't know if I have enough cards for everybody, but if you want, I can send out an email, and you guys can have my telephone number and email from now on, so.
That'd be good. It's already an issue, parking out there for
Right.
for everybody.
Yeah, we had some, I think there
It's
had
a
been
big concern.
yeah, there had been a traffic study done on the peaks and valleys throughout the day on when parking is an issue and when it's not, so. Any spots that we're taking up, we're trying to replicate elsewhere, whether it's in front of the tennis courts. We've talked with some of the library staff about utilizing Shattuck Street, about trying to get out, using the spots on the street for staff to alleviate any type of more spots in the back parking lot, so. We know it's gonna be tight, we're aware of it, and we wanna be as, we wanna make sure we don't inconvenience people as much
Any
as
luck
possible.
with the getting spots at the Congregational Church?
We did. Phil has been working with Pastor Bruce over there, so that's currently under the negotiating, but I think that's gonna be fine, and we're gonna use that for contractor parking. That was another thing that's come up, is when we do actually start construction, there will be no contractor parking taking up our parking spots out back. So we'll either be using the church, we'll be using inside the site fence, and I've also spoken with the superintendent. During summer hours, we'll be able to utilize some of the school parking lot. But once school's in session, of course, we'll be back to probably the church parking lot. So,
And what was the anticipated completion?
The duration's about 13 months.
Oh, it'll go by fast. We know.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It'll go by fast. So, you have to
So
believe
how
that.
many spots are we gonna lose?
I don't have that exact number yet, because we haven't gotten the official number that we're going to gain when we try to replicate it out front. Do you have that number of what we're taking out of where in front of the library is gonna go that needs to be dug out anyway, as well as what you're taking?
I haven't counted them, because I don't know how many spots are kind of where the snow pile and all the brush and debris goes. But it's there out to about 30 feet past the first light pole. And the back row of parking and the parking
Lot of
adjacent
spots.
to that.
It is, that's a lot of spots. Yeah, that's a lot of spots.
Yeah, I think the logistics plan too, your plan is still to strip some of the area in front of the tennis courts
We can
to try
certainly do
to
that.
try to replicate some spots out there for other people. Like we said, when the chain link fence does go up, there'll be spots that actually dive into the fence itself. And I'll work with someone about getting some signage up there to encourage to reserve these for the seniors.
Senior parking.
Yeah. So, anything else, I'll send an email to Liz, and it can be distributed to everybody here, and let me know if you have any questions.
And we can try to get the word out as we progress along here, so.
Mhm. And all complaints go to Phil, not me.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming and spending your
Yes,
time with us.
absolutely.
No, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Thank you,
beautiful
Sam.
building.
Thank you.
Mark.
It,
That was.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated.
And we're going to move and slide right into, where did he go? Oh, he left. Okay. I thought he was coming up to the table. No.
How we doing?
So we have Scott Wazinski with us here, who actually is here to talk to us a little bit about life today in this country.
Yeah.
So,
could I
yes, go
preface
right
it by-
ahead.
So, over the past several weeks, we've been getting calls at the office and to the town hall and emails coming in, talking to us about coronavirus, COVID-19. What are we doing? Are we being proactive or just reactive? What are we making available to our residents in terms of safety? What are we doing for precautions? So what we've been doing is we've been having department head meetings to discuss this. What are we doing as a town? What are we doing for each department? And we had a meeting this morning, actually, because this is an evolving situation. It seems to be changing minute by minute almost. So what are we going to do? How proactive are we going to be? So we discussed this morning our senior population, because over 60 seems to be the most vulnerable at this point with this novel coronavirus. So do we want to be proactive? Do we want to cancel our large gatherings? So I wanted to bring it here, have Chief here, because he's our expert on the topic. You're our local
Wouldn't go there,
emergency,
Emergency Management Director.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So we've been in touch, with all of the conference calls, through MEMA, through DPH, and like Liz said, it's evolving. It's kind of, we're hearing a little bit more every day on exposures and family members that were exposed to other family members who are experiencing symptoms. You hear a lot of this called positive symptoms, but without a specific diagnosis, because they don't have enough kits to test everybody across the country.
So last night, they're gonna have 200 million by the,
they're hoping to have 4 million by the end of the week for the whole country. So that's not much.
That's not gonna work.
my biggest question is, can you get tested?
So what they do is they test you for all of the other stuff. When you hear them say you're positive, positive symptoms, they test you for the other flus, and they rule out, so you don't have the other things. You more probably than not have that. So there just aren't enough tests, and what they are doing is recommending that people basically quarantine at home. Do not go out. Do not go to the grocery store and go shopping before you go home. Things like that. You stay home for your 14 days. If you've been exposed to somebody, you stay home for 14 days. You get somebody to bring stuff to you. You don't go out and infect the rest of the population, because that's currently what's happening. And a lot of times people don't even realize that they're being exposed because they may have been exposed to somebody that's been out of the country on one of these other various locations, or meetings similar to what you see in Boston going on right now. So these larger groups, when they have functions and stuff like that, they don't realize that people are actually being exposed. So a couple days later, when people start to have symptoms, then it's too late, and you realize that, okay, your group of 100 people that were in this function area have now all been exposed. You may be fine, you may not be, you may not have any any symptoms, but now you all need to be quarantined for your 14 days, just to keep the rest of the population safe as well as yourself. Being at the high risk population, it's, as we were talking in our meeting earlier, we'd rather be on the safe side. And try to limit some of your gatherings. I think that's going to be up for you guys to have some discussion about, but it's really evolving day by day, and it's changing and growing, and without the ability to actually go out and test everything, they can't, there's so much that they can't confirm.
Right.
But simple practices of washing your hands and cleaning everything, Clorox and bleach.
Cleaning your face.
Keep your hands away from your face. Simple practices are where you say it's common sense, but that's what's, it makes the difference.
Right.
What are the symptoms?
They're flu-like symptoms. It's a temperature. It's a deep down, like if you're coughing and producing like phlegm or fluid, it's a productive cough. Those are considered positive symptoms. A tickle in the throat or a dry cough or a runny nose, that's not. That could be allergies or just a common cold.
Go right ahead.
So we're bringing this here, our intention's not to cause panic of any sort. We just want to have the conversation because people are asking, are you going to wait and be reactive or are you going to be proactive? This morning, my regional COA directors group is emailing back and forth. Everyone is having a similar conversation. A few of our fellow COAs are canceling some of their trips and some of their larger gatherings. So my feeling would be to keep you all safe and cancel things that are not essential. Continue to do meals on wheels, but anything recreational. But this is the conversation I wanted to bring to you all today. And Marge, wherever you'd like to speak.
Yeah, I saw her hand, I was waiting, so, yes, Barbara?
Well, I want to ask about next week because it's our monthly luncheon
Right.
that Friends Give, and you get 100 people. So I'm just curious, I need to know what to do about that. What do you feel is what we should do?
Before I recognized you, I was going to say, I've heard something in the news about even gatherings of more than 50 people,
Right.
where it should be
CNN.
discouraged.
Should be discouraged.
Yes, and
That's what they're recommending.
that's what they're recommending.
That's
So
kind
when
of
you have that as a national recommendation, it is a national thing, I think.
It is. That's why we're here to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a concern, and we don't want to, it's a disruption.
Well,
I
it is.
get it, but your health is more important than the
Right,
disruption.
and this is seniors.
Yep, and you're the highest risk population.
The kids from the tech.
Oh, that's right, we have the tech coming to serve.
Yep.
So then you're suggesting we postpone or cancel?
It would be a good idea.
I think we
I would
need
like to
to,
have like a board
we need to
recommendation.
have,
Yeah.
a board decision, I think, and I do believe the selectmen are interested in what we decide as a board. They would like to have some feedback from us
So
on this.
we'll have the discussion here. The information will go to the selectmen and the Board of Health. And ultimately, we'll make a decision as an entire group of stakeholders in this.
But she really needs to have a
She needs
decision
to
the
know
next
now.
day or two.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if we're gonna cancel, we need to cancel soon.
And
Right.
we need to tell many people.
Right.
Right.
I would make it a recommendation to the board that they cancel the large luncheon. I have some questions about some of the classes that we have that have 30 people in them.
I second that.
So we have a motion, let me make sure I got this straight, only regarding the luncheon for next week, at this point, right? That because they need to have information and can't wait to get feedback from the Board of Health and the Selectmen and everything else, that we recommend that function next week unfortunately be canceled. Or postponed, but, you hate to, we don't know how long this is gonna go either, so, but the reality is, it's very concerning, the situation that we're all in, so,
It is.
yes, it's quite scary
It
in
is.
a way, yeah.
We'd rather be on the positive side and be proactive instead
Right.
of reactionary.
Okay, so we have a motion to that, and it has been made and seconded by Patty Hunt, that we make that recommendation, specifically that one right now, and then we'll continue our discussion about other things. Okay.
So my general consensus will be if we're making the decision to cancel one thing, we should be consistent across the board about what we are canceling. And it would be anything I would consider non-essential, so knitting, fitness, wellness, educational, and we'll just keep meals, transportation to medical appointments.
So basically, if what I'm hearing you say is any of the groups that currently meet will not meet.
What about blood pressure clinic?
Like
Something
craft
that.
class.
Yep,
Craft class will be canceled.
I would like to have the discussion. What are your
Stretcher
thoughts?
flex, that, yoga, those kind of things, we have 30 people.
Right.
Can we first decide whether we're postponing that
Right.
motion that we have on the table, and then we'll just
Right.
revisit that?
We'll add to it whatever we need.
Okay, so, just so we're all together here, I don't want to be accused of not paying attention to a motion. So, okay, move on. Yes, Susan, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Other comments,
I
thoughts?
would agree to cancel craft class, I think, because I have 24 people coming tomorrow, which is a bigger class than I've had right along. So it's more people than I normally would have. Whatever you think, if you think that's okay, fine, we're prepared to do it. We have an instructor coming, but if you feel let's cancel it to be safe, I have no problem with that.
Just seems to me that the less frequency of people gathering in large groups,
Yeah,
the better.
or the better, right?
Quite frankly.
Yeah.
You're almost afraid to go grocery shopping, even if but you have to take the precautions that they are advertising and putting out there for us too, about washing your hands and everything.
I'm looking to Maureen because she's our registered nurse.
It's really difficult. We walked into the knitting room today, and someone had brought wipes. So we started. We wiped the table, and we wiped all the chair rests. But it's very hard. I went into the ladies' room. There are 3 door handles you
That's
have
right.
to touch to even get into the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It does become,
On the elevator
issue.
buttons,
And
Yep.
the elevator
Yeah, everything.
buttons, yeah.
right,
when you think about it,
Mhm.
just,
right.
Maintenance is going up and down the halls, Cloroxing everything. They did a deeper clean over the weekend, but it's hard to
How
say.
do we
there's a
get-
lot of people-
How do we get notice out to people to know this, that they're canceling all of these?
We would call. So the plan would be to make the recommendation, bring our recommendations to the selectmen tonight, and I believe that board, in conjunction with the Board of Health, would ultimately give their blessing and say, yes, we agree. What do you think, Chief?
How long do we think that this, are we saying that it's going to, yeah, I mean.
I know, this is very difficult.
Your guess is as good as anybody's.
Exactly, but are we saying that?
Hasn't even gotten going yet.
I mean,
We
I don't know.
haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we
Exactly.
have to go
Um,
indefinitely.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
That's
right,
That
yeah.
would be,
That's right.
one would think.
When you listen to all the reports,
Yes.
one, there's no testing out there because they don't have the test equipment. People are gonna be
I would say that would
infected
be your call.
for months.
And
one
Could be.
discussion at a
When they
time.
work on a virus, it needs to be tested and proven before it's gonna be distributed. That's a year away.
Easily.
We're gonna be
Easily.
taking precaution for months.
Okay, can we
Yeah.
have it quiet so that we can hear Patty, please?
So when you think of what we do here as a COA, now you talk about the blood pressure clinic. People don't come in droves, they come in
Right.
maybe 2 at a time, 1 at a time. Do we cancel that because it's,
do we
Blood
take a
pressure
number
clinic and
and
people
say
come in.
anything over such?
but they don't come in groups? Do we cancel the senior lunch because the senior lunch doesn't get a lot of people What do we have, 10 or 12 every day?
I wouldn't cancel the daily meal. Some
No,
people
because
do
it's
rely
not a
on
lot,
that.
and it provides a meal that's taken to homes.
Well, that might be considered essential. I think that Liz's idea of essential versus non-essential, but that was why I questioned the blood pressure clinic, because I think there are people that rely on,
There are.
that rely on getting their blood pressure checked here. You know, and don't, I know I can go to my healthcare provider and just walk in the door anytime, but a lot of people can't do that.
If you
But
can
maybe-
find one, you
That's not a
find
group that
big,
gets
That's
Uh,
small. That's
That's
small.
small,
you
and
know,
it's
small.
in and out.
Like you said,
Run by
the
registered
the
nurses.
non-essential things, the large groups, the,
Yeah.
you know,
The social groups?
Well, I think we'd have to leave it up to Liz's discretion as to what is considered essential and non-essential. But maybe that's the way it should be presented to the selectmen.
But this, again, the social group is a group of people who are definitely at higher risk.
Very high risk, yes.
how many people usually come to that?
Well, there may only be 5 or 6 people, but again,
They're at very high
Yeah.
risk. They're high-risk individuals that are coming to it. Maybe you could take the blood pressure clinic and move it downstairs into the kitchen so that nobody comes any further than the kitchen area. And then they're not using the elevator and going
I'm not
up and
worried about it, 'cause
downstairs.
that's, Liz will handle it. I have confidence in her ability to say,
Mm.
this is essential and this is not essential, and if this is, we're gonna do this way.
And I
I
wouldn't,
trust her judgment, so.
and I wouldn't make any decision in a vacuum. I'd consult the appropriate people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. I was just thinking in how to phrase a recommendation to the selectmen and the board, which will go to the Board of Health also, so. And what would be the easiest way to do it. And make it manageable for the staff. I mean, they're the ones that have to put it into play and monitor it every day, so, not us, not the board, so. So I know, Barbara, I think you were, I asked for you to stop talking, but the two of you were talking, so do you need,
No, that's
say
fine.
something? I didn't mean to be rude, but we couldn't
Well, I
hear.
heard on the news that once this warm weather comes, we won't have to worry about it any longer. Is that
Oh,
true?
I hadn't heard that. I wish that was true, because today's warm.
There's been slight rumor that in China, they've started to see a slight decline, but until that happens, nobody knows. It's still there, it's still present.
Well, it's
Um,
broken out in warm climates, hasn't it?
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's across the whole world. You know, and unfortunately, that's not a risk that I'm willing to gamble on.
We don't
Until
know
we,
if-
until we see it
Yeah, because the cruise ship too, that was a,
Yeah.
everywhere.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah, we don't know what the virus is thinking.
exactly.
It knows what
They
it
don't.
wants.
Nobody does. And that's the problem.
And unfortunately, China has been sending out false information to their benefit to make us not as scared.
We're just trying to deal with what we have here and what we see coming. And, you know, it's of concern, and you guys are the high-risk population, and I would rather have you all healthy,
Yeah.
so that, you know, we can have luncheons again on another date. It's, to me, it's not worth the risk, and as we were talking earlier, you know, we're trying to think about this townwide in all aspects, and really for everyone's benefit.
Is there any talk this morning or anything about closing the town hall for any reason?
We are currently working through all of our options. You know, that may happen, it may not, but we're just trying to be prepared for whatever comes our way.
Well, if you listen to what other companies and things that people have been doing, they've been saying, I've heard,
Yeah.
they say, they're telling people who can stay at home, work from home,
Mhm.
you know, do not come in,
Yeah.
whatever. So, you know, in my mind, it's just a no-brainer here.
And we
I
can,
think.
I'm sorry, Rich. We can access our outreach database off-site.
I thought I was going somewhere.
I thought so too. So we can keep in contact with all high-risk residents. We can call them at home. We can access the information off-site if we needed to. So it's perfect time if there's anybody out in the community that you're concerned about or you've encountered and you want us to just do a double check, make sure that they are okay. We can keep on top of things even if we're not here physically in the office.
Well, our town is great at doing well checks, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, we really are.
And that's one
Lucky.
thing, that will never change, emergency services, public safety, that's, doesn't matter what happens, that's not going to change.
Right.
Nancy?
I'm sorry, Nancy.
I have a question for the chief. Hi. I've only been to 2 supermarkets, Donlands and the Market Basket. The Fresh Produce has a lot of their items open for anyone. I mean, you pick up a pile of string beans and you say,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want this, and you
I didn't
throw
buy
it
any.
back. And is there going to be any restrictions made to these supermarkets that everything needs to be packaged?
I apologize, I don't have a good answer for that.
Well, why not? Why not?
You know, I would say pay attention to the CDC.
Oh.
Pay attention to the CDC website, DPH. If there's any changes like that that are going to occur across the country, that's where it's going to come across first. So I have no answer on that one.
So essentially, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So essentially what you're saying is that if we approve this, there would be no COA active in the town hall indefinitely.
We would still be running the essential programs. We would still be doing outreach, we'd still do meals, still do transportation, blood pressure clinic, sounds like maybe social club.
Doctor's appointment, all the kinds of trips,
But no other,
social events.
No recreational.
Recreational, social types of events.
No classes or anything.
Yes, Barbara.
It's good.
I am going to say to think about the thrift shop, because we don't get a lot of people coming through, but we get people from different towns and everything. I don't want it to close, but I want to be safe, like you're saying, so think about that and let us know what you think we should do, you know?
Maybe you could have some kind, why, you can't in there. Clothing has been, it's brought in.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
actually-
another thing, you're gonna accept, you could stop accepting clothing too, you know.
Actually, we were having the
Bag
bag
sales?
sales. during
Bag
the
sale,
month.
yeah.
Well, that might be.
So
Help.
that means.
That's a lot more people.
More people too. I mean,
No, but they're individual people, they're not coming in large groups and standing around and talking to each other
The
and
only
shaking
problem is
hands.
if they touch something, how long does it last?
No.
Well, you're right.
Anybody
About
can
hours.
bring in something
That's
and
what
that
I'm
would have the
saying,
12
virus.
hours.
I believe.
It doesn't
Every time my wife
stay
takes 2
long.
bananas off the whole pile, I think, well, what are you doing?
Something touched.
Yeah.
12 hours?
They don't know. That's the issue.
I mean,
That's what I
That's
heard
what I
last night,
had
they don't
read.
know.
There's so many
It's
different
ridiculous.
things, and all they're saying now is the only thing that's approved are like Clorox bleach products. So wiping down everything, bleaching everything, and they don't, that's the unknown. And until those definite answers come out on surfaces, and they don't have definite answers.
So you don't know.
Addie,
We've talked about this now for 20 minutes. And the fact remains is it's a new virus. We all thought it was transmitted by travel, and we now know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And we have no clue how it's transmitted.
Right.
And we don't know anything about this. So the fact remains, I think, what you said before is, and Liz said, we need to cancel indefinitely all non-essentials for COA.
I would withdraw
Until
my-
further notice, until we have something definitive from CDC, which probably won't happen for a little bit. But I think for the safety of seniors, while being one of those who has underlying problems, we have to do this for our seniors. We would be remiss if we didn't do it.
I think so too.
And that's the way to present it to the selectmen. And that's what I would propose.
Second.
I agree. All right, so you started to
I removed my
withdraw.
motion and I seconded hers.
All right, so we had the first motion retracted. So, thank you. And, you know, Barbara just lifted up the flyer about Senator Eldridge's thing, and that's another event, and there's a lot of seniors that go to that. I know from last year, a lot of seniors attend. So that might be canceled in April, by that time.
Well, and if it doesn't, don't go.
Well, yes, but, that's right, so think about
I mean,
these things for
be
yourself. too.
proactive yourself.
Correct.
And things may change.
Right.
You know,
It could,
week to week,
you
day
don't
to
want
day.
to be
But we can change then, too.
a downer, right?
That's
And-
right.
And if it does start to change and we're just, you know, hitting a speed bump, then great. And you can pick things back up.
For the time being, it seems appropriate, it does, so. All right, is there any further discussion? If not, would someone present a motion? Do you want to restate your, did you say it was a motion? I didn't catch, you did? You'd like to move that? We recommend to the Board of Selectmen,
I think we should recommend to the Board of Selectmen, either as a board or through Liz as the director, that all non-essential services by the COA be canceled for the foreseeable future for the protection of our seniors in town or anybody else serviced by the COA.
right,
That all non-essential services be canceled for the foreseeable future until we have something positive from the CDC or responsible people on this virus, that we will have some protection from this.
then we have more knowledge and more information about it.
That we can make a
Basically.
decision to reverse that decision.
Right.
That everything be canceled.
Could be.
Right, we're not gonna put all of that into
Could
the
be.
motion.
Right.
Sarah's fingers
But thank you. All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
And seconded by several people, take your pick. Lee, Maureen, Bob, so Sue's over there trying to take her minutes.
I'll write it out for you, sir.
Seconded by who?
Maureen, okay. We'll give Maureen the distinction, so. All right, all those in favor of the motion, you're gonna raise your hands? Okay, are we, one abstention?
One abstention.
One abstention. Okay. Then it is a vote with one abstention. And we do have 2 absent members today, Sue, but we still have a majority. So. Thank you, that's a tough decision, and it is, but I think it
It
might
is
be
a tough decision.
very tough.
Would rather be
It's wise.
very
Yeah.
proactive and.
I have a
little
question
wild.
for the chief, but it has nothing to do with COA, neighborhood supper.
Oh, yeah, things like that in town, yes.
Should we contact the neighborhood supper board to,
It's a lot of
that's
seniors.
about
a lot of
80
seniors.
people
It's-
every week?
And I, sorry, that this is it's a tough thing at that point because
it's
when
food.
it's food, and a lot of people rely on that
meal.
as a meal
Mhm.
that don't typically have it.
Right.
And I understand that, and I'm not gonna say not to do it for that reason alone.
Right.
you
Must
know?
be the church, council of churches needs to have the discussion, perhaps.
Well, the
Yeah.
neighborhood board,
The neighborhood
neighborhood
board.
supper board.
Oh, okay.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And,
they do.
you know, again, pay attention to the CDC, pay attention to, you know, the different things that are coming out. And you may hit a point if there are a lot of exposures and if work gets out of control. You know, the group would recommend that they make the appropriate decision.
Yep.
But again, you know, it has to do with meals that people rely on, and I understand that. And right now, I think we're being proactive and for your own safety, for your, you know, for the
Yeah.
population.
And it goes without saying, and I'm sure that Scott would inform us through Liz, we'll hear when something does come through the CDC perhaps and everything, which might make us change our way.
We're meeting on a regular basis. We're trying to just stay in front of this and be proactive. And we're emailing every day, and probably we'll be meeting several times a week, just to try and, disseminate the information that we're all getting right now.
It's not an easy decision, that's for sure.
But I think it was a wise decision.
Well, I thank you for coming, really, and helping us with this, because it's a topic of conversation in the knitting room, which I was a part of also prior to this meeting, and it was a big topic of conversation in here, so.
I will pass on any information that we receive. So.
I'm sure you will. So
Thank you.
those will-
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, okay. Now that we've juggled the whole agenda around, let's go back and see if we can straighten it out. So, we never did do the minutes, and I do believe you did get a copy, a complete copy. And so, let's take care of that. The February 10th meeting,
Move that they be accepted.
we have a motion by Bob Stetson, and
I have a correction.
Susan has a correction.
On number 6, old business, part C, paragraph C, the last sentence said that Susan and Anita will take classes on creating a video and hope to have the first show soon. No, we are not taking classes. Just please strike that sentence.
That's what was said.
That's what was said, yeah, we talked about that, I guess, at the
But
end,
we,
maybe it got.
no, we said has that that had changed. been offered to us, but we did not have to do that, so
Okay.
please,
So we're not going to correct that, no classes.
no
We're-
classes for us.
Okay,
Please, please. We're still doing the show, but no classes.
okay, thank you.
You're busy enough. You're busy enough.
Right.
We're
Okay,
on our
that's,
second one.
thank you for that correction. So can you amend
It's
your
just her
motion,
and
Bob,
I,
that
we
we,
in an empty room by ourselves.
we have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
Second.
Thank you, Maureen. Sue, it's Maureen who seconded. All those in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. That was a unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay. Now, Barbara, can you come to the table? Sorry about that.
That's okay. Actually, my whole presentation has changed.
I guess.
I think so.
Well, we don't know whether the selectmen, whether this will be carried forth either. We don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
don't do
was-
anything quite yet. They're meeting
Then I'll
tonight.
talk about it.
Yes, okay.
Only. As everybody here knows, that we have our St. Patrick's Day luncheon, the 18th, which is next Wednesday. I'm not sure how many people,
100.
100.
I know.
100 people have signed up. So this is a kind of a touchy moment, because of course we want to do the luncheon, and of course we want our friends and our seniors to be healthy and stay that way, including a few of us at this table, right? But it's sad. It's sad to think that it would, because it is such a fun time for everyone. And so, but it is our last luncheon for the season. We don't have one in April because the school was doing their luncheon for seniors, and they'll have to decide what goes for that. And then in May, and maybe we'll be okay, maybe we won't, the Council on Aging and the Friends give their luncheon for the volunteers that have volunteered for the COA and the Friends. It's not for anyone else. Other departments have to do their own, but we do the COA and Friends volunteers. And that would be in May, if we can do it. We'll do something to appreciate their work. So then we're finished until possibly the fashion show, which would be in June, which maybe, I'm going to have to keep adding that. Maybe we'll be able to do that. And then the next luncheon, of course, will be in September. But I'm thinking that if things get better around June, I'll talk to my board about this, because we may have to miss this luncheon, we could do something in the summer, outside, inside, you know, for the seniors, and let them know that
See what
we
happens with this whole nasty situation we're in.
we don't want anybody to think we forgot them,
No.
but we also want them to know we want to take care of them. So, of course, it's a hard decision, and of course, we've been planning on it. We have the caterers from the tech coming for the St. Patrick's, but we don't want them to be ill either. I would like to see Littleton be one of the towns that actually doesn't get the virus. I think that would be great. So I can see
Wouldn't that
that.
be special?
Yeah, and I can see that everybody's working towards that. So whatever you say, this is what we'll do, whatever the selectmen decide. But look forward to June, July, maybe August, and coming next year in September. So, oh, and I did want to say that the Friends have started talking about fundraising. We didn't send our letter out this year, but we're redoing everything right now and sending it out soon. So that's being done too. And I did talk to other towns, and they send theirs out in March. So we're not really too late. Also, we have this Friends meeting with people on the Friends boards coming in April. Have to wait and see what that's.
Well, I'm sure the friends groups, they're from the towns that this group
Yeah, it
part of,
is,
so.
it is the,
Yeah.
you know, the chairman of the Friends.
Friends,
that
right.
come. And there may only be 20 people. So we'll see how that goes. We'll listen to what you
Is
have.
that considered non-essential, though?
I'm sorry?
I'm looking at Liz. Is that considered non-essential?
A meeting of that sort.
I would say it's not essential, but it's also not our meeting.
No. You know,
Okay.
So it's not a lot of people either. But if they decide they still want to have it, maybe we'll have it someplace else, if they decide. But we'll talk about it too.
Yeah, well, it's a friends
And we'll
thing.
be in contact with all of you to make sure we do the right thing. Okay? I think
Thank you.
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you.
Nancy, did you?
Yes, I do.
You skipped the
I did.
conflict of interest law.
Well, that's what she said.
No, I didn't.
That's the whole
Is that the
discussion.
one that they sent to us?
That's
that
only two
we
people.
had to-
It was in your
Everything,
packet
I
to
agree.
put in your manual.
Either everything goes or nothing
But
goes.
they also, there was one that came online that everybody had to
That's
attest
that's what I said,
That's
yes.
to. Do
true.
we know
That's what I
whether
meant.
everybody did?
Yeah, everything we would be
That's the
announcing
clerk's
isn't
job.
gonna be
If they did
happening.
not, if you got an email that you were due, it comes up different times for different people.
I think it's every 2 years.
It's every 2 years, and we're not all on the same
Okay.
schedule. So I was on that, in the email, I had to do it, and that's what called my attention to the fact that we weren't current in our meetings.
Okay.
So, and if somebody hasn't done it, Diane Curry will let you know.
Yes, she will.
So, that's her job. Okay. So, thank you, Barbara. And Nancy, you were talking and we got interrupted. I interrupted you, I'm sorry.
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I just want to let you know that the Friends Board have been communicating to each other, discussing exactly what we discussed here, as if we should cancel or not. So we were waiting to hear what you had to say, and totally understand. I mean, hey, we might, even though we have 100+ sign up, they might not show up.
Well,
That's
it's
true.
true. And that would be a
That's
waste
true.
of
That
money.
was true, but I'm not sure that,
Well, it's very true. People aren't going to sporting events and things, so,
put their food in front of them though, and they'll come.
well, maybe.
And they don't think about the fact that they may be a carrier.
We started a music program for seniors, and it appears to be going very well, particularly because I wasn't there. I was out sick one time, and then they decided when I was out that they were going to meet every week, but they didn't tell me. So now that I know, we're meeting again on Monday, and it's just a small group. It's, I think, 7 or 8 people. Some will play instruments and some will sing. And Mark Rory has gotten involved when he can have time. And
But that has to be
it's
canceled.
just very exciting to me because
Right.
they want to come every week.
That's a non-essential.
That's
group.
not essential.
It's not, no, it's not. So it might have to be canceled, I understand.
We'll see.
But you'll have to break their hearts, not me. And the Book Buddy program is going on at Shaker Lane School. That's a week from Friday. It'll be up to the teacher to decide if she wants to cancel that group. There are about 12 of us that will go.
No, I would think no. It's non-essential. I mean, if we voted non-essential, that's everything.
Even if it's not in this building?
I think the hard part is, I think the hard part is deciding what is really essential, and then saying everything else is gone.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll let the teacher and the
I
others
don't
know.
like
Nothing,
it,
well,
but
wait, and then.
We have to
yeah.
wait till tonight.
We have to wait.
All right, all right.
Wait and see.
And then I don't know if Amy's going to talk about this. We have some IBM volunteers, and they brought us a huge supply of stuff, including gift cards, gift cards to the Market Basket, stamps, all sorts of cleaning supplies with Clorox in it. And so I was very impressed with them. And someone mentioned, oh, they did bring tissues, but they didn't bring tissues from the dollar store. They brought good brand name
Nice.
tissues. These ladies were just amazing, and they want to get very involved, but I will also let them know this will have to wait until the future.
Well, they might have a place where they can get some of those cleaning supplies more frequently than most of us, because they're not even in the stores anymore, so,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
And they want to bring their kids, which is, so we'll have to wait on that. That's all I have to say. Do you have any questions for me?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. In your packets also, Liz gave you a copy of the Code of Conduct. And we carried that over from last month because we didn't have the handout for the meeting. Please get this into your manuals.
Yeah.
A holes a punch for you and everything. No
two things to
excuses.
go into the manuals.
Yeah, 2 things. Get them into your manuals. Thank you. And that's the only reason it's on, just to make sure that we called your attention to that. So that's why it's on the agenda. Okay. I think I've caught everything now. We're down to old business B, visibility of the COA, and that really is all about our new show, which actually was on the line in February, and another one's coming up in March. Is that right? Anita and Susan are gals who are running this?
Well, everything we were going to talk about just got canceled, so.
So what would you like us to do, and should we cancel? I mean, we have a whole script ready to go, but.
We wrote a whole script.
Maybe what you ought to do is talk about
this?
the whole thing, the COA, and why we're canceling what we're
Right.
canceling.
I think
Okay.
that's a
And
good
how
idea.
important it is to keep seniors healthy and that whole thing.
Right.
Okay.
Use the time. It was a beautiful first program.
You liked it then.
Excellent.
We were a success.
It was so, very well done, I thought. Liz participates, so it would be appropriate to talk, if the selectmen do decide.
Right.
So we're gonna have
And
to
we
kind
could
of
do
leave
it,
that.
we could do it this week. Since craft class has been canceled, I have all day Wednesday. That we could run the program, if Liz has time and Mark has time, we could do it this week and get it up online.
Yeah.
Be very careful not to express fear, but just
Oh, yeah.
express.
Well,
Well, the other
I
thing
need to
too
be
is to be
careful.
really careful about any kind of information that we're giving.
I can give you a perfect example. My granddaughter went to Cambodia. She came back. She's been here for a week plus now. She went to school all last week. On Friday, she had a migraine headache, which she gets every once in a while because of some other reasons. Teacher saw her, went to the principal, who went to the superintendent, who said, send her home for the day. Sunday afternoon, she got an email from the school saying, because I'm sure when the teacher heard that, she wasn't satisfied, but I don't know. And so she's home for a week just because of the fear that people have. And that worries me. That worries me more than the situation
Yeah.
itself.
No, I think the point is we just need to educate people that, common sense, and especially since they've come out and said, large groups especially, and even some smaller groups now, it's worse every day. So by tomorrow, it could be even worse. So. I agree, though, you can.
It's evolving.
If you're talking about, you tell somebody you don't panic right away, you're giving them that idea of panicking. I mean, so choose your words carefully. That's basically what it's all about.
Well, I think
It's
it's not about panic, it's just trying to educate the elderly that we really would have liked to have had you come to the luncheon and to the craft class, but to be safe, it's a
Right.
better idea not to right now. And I didn't have anything to do for May for my craft class, so I'll move March to May if we, so
Okay.
it's just,
I think that's a great idea, though,
Let me-
great topic, to,
but are you fine with us doing that? Because the TV show is non-essential. Do you want us to do it?
well, that's not a large group, there's three of you.
It's three of us.
And you can contain that. I don't see that as a problem. Right.
Okay.
Wash your hands.
It's information also that's needed out there.
Right, yeah,
All right.
okay.
We're
Okay.
essential.
We're essential and we'll rewrite our speech.
So, but,
And thank you for the vote of confidence.
yes, no, you've done a great job. So,
I
it's exciting, I think.
I think somehow, I don't know whether it's wait until we hear this final report, but somehow it's important to me to get onto the show where we're at with the senior center, what stage we're at.
Well, that, we're
And
gonna get to.
that would be a big boost if we had more information, to put that on as a discussion and get more people
Right.
aware. That's just a big
And
deal.
that's the next item on our agenda.
Okay.
So-
Perfect segue.
Yes, thank you for that segue. So, to catch everyone up who's viewing the show and the rest of you, there has not been a meeting of the working group for senior center since our last board meeting. And it says in the Indian Hill property. Now, the selectmen did activate interest
Mhm.
in the Indian Hill property on King Street. And so that has been in the works. They did authorize Nina to have the architects go in and assess that property. There is also a rumor, out there, that I heard last Friday, I think for the first time, and it is that Indian Hill's out of the picture. They're asking for $9 million, and that's too much money.
Yeah.
And that is inaccurate information. I do not know what the amount is actually, but I just have been told that was not accurate information. So I'd just like to set the record straight. I don't know the information that is accurate though, so I would tell you if I did. But once we find something out, we'll share it with people. So, just to help not have stories going around that aren't true.
Mhm.
Yes, Sue?
I think at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, they said 2.3, but that may be different, that's what they valued it at or wanted to sell it
Let's see,
for.
assessors.
But that was at the board meeting.
I didn't hear
Somebody may
that
have been
meeting.
just making a
I heard that too.
mistake
I
in
heard that.
thinking
The
of
assessed value.
property
The
in
assessed
Groton
value,
as
right.
opposed to the property in
I
Littleton.
don't know, and it's not worth spending our time on, but the
Right.
reality is that, just
They
forget
are
that.
interested in selling and they are willing to sell
Still
to us.
open.
Yeah.
Is all that we need to know at this point.
And that is in process, and I did check the selectmen's agenda for tonight to see if there was anything on there about it, and there is not. However, for people that are interested, I will point out one thing. If the viewers are watching, and might like to know, some people know this, and some don't, that Great Northern Bank has been talking for quite a while about putting a whole new development in there. They own adjacent property to the current bank where the current bank is. Excuse me. And that is on the selectmen's agenda, the development of the Great Northern property at 9:15 tonight. So if anybody's interested and would like to catch that, I'm not going to go to the meeting and sit and wait until 9:15.
Where is that bank?
It's right next to the DCU building.
Oh, next to the DCU.
The green, there's a green
Yeah.
color to it. I think they're tearing that down, and they own adjacent property, and they're presenting, and I think it has to do with the Common Revitalization Program.
Yes.
And that's why the selectmen are listening to them. But it would be interesting, I'm interested in knowing what they're proposing. But that is on their agenda at 9:15 tonight. I didn't see anything about Indian Hill per se, though, so. Just for information purposes. Anybody else have anything to say about Indian Hill and the potential for a new senior center? We still don't know much. We're still in waiting for
Just as a
information.
comment, somebody also said Sunday that Bank of America is coming back into town somewhere.
Well, right in the center, right where they were. You can see they got new signs, they've redone the building. Yeah. Oh,
Where is
yeah.
that?
Right on King Street,
Where the old Harvard Bank used to
Where they
be.
used to be.
Where they used.
where they were.
Yeah, they're just
The Bank
opening
of
up
America
again.
building. Right across from Subway.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I know. I closed all of my accounts when they moved out. Because I wasn't gonna drive all the way to Acton or Westford, and everything, but, yeah, and now they're coming back. They never sold the building, obviously. And they have redone it. They've got a new sign out there now. There's people in there working all the time. They're not open, but they're redoing the inside. All right. Moving on, I think we covered everything except for the reports. Board members check and make sure we're not missing something. As it turns out, we had some very interesting information. And also, by the way, just for your information, Vertex is the company that has been working with the town anyway, for construction purposes, so they're not new to the town. Then Brian, who was from Vertex. The contractor, I forget his first name, but his name is right here, Philip Balboni. Do you have from Commodore Builders, they're the construction people for the library. And I think it was nice they came to help us understand what's going to be happening. Okay, if no other oops have occurred, we'll move on to the reports. Liz, you're on.
Sure. So my report is in the back of your packet. First on the updates is, of course, a van driver situation. We are, with bills passing, we're down a van driver. Sam Palmer is our fill-in van driver who's been picking up the shifts. We're doing best we can to keep all the rides intact and not have to cancel anyone's ride. We will be posting that position. It'll just take us some time to find someone, and Bill, absolutely irreplaceable. He was a great employee for 5 years, so committed, so dedicated. And again, thank you for sending the family the flowers, and to Marge for attending the wake with me. That was special.
It was special. It was a whole group. It was really special, I thought.
Our whole department met here, and we rode our Bill's bus over across the street to the funeral home together.
It was really, really
Yeah.
pretty special. Yeah. I parked over there. I knew they were doing it, and so I just met them when they got off the van, and we went in as a group, which was very nice. It was a lovely,
special.
lovely, yes, it was very, yeah. So, and the flowers were beautiful.
Yes.
They were color coordinated to go with their themes because apparently the family used the same florist. So, it was very nice.
Okay, next on the updates, senior co-housing. So I know we've discussed in here the co-housing, Middlesex co-housing, which bought Gruszkowski's property over here. I actually met with the developer, Mr. Blackstone, and the woman leading the group, Diane Loomis, and they went through their entire plans with me. They showed me the blueprints, they gave me this PowerPoint, what they're trying to accomplish. We reviewed their plans to see is it age-friendly? What changes would I recommend? Not that I am a developer in any sense, but, I mean, there's some things that are, you know, senior housing, you want this amount of space between your car, where you park it, and where your house is, and the distance you have to walk. So I will be sending out all this information, but they were also willing to come to a board meeting and show everyone their plans and discuss it. They have, I think, I want to say 12 committed families to that property over there.
Wow.
But nobody from Littleton.
From town
yet.
or from out of town?
All out of town. No one from Littleton yet. So we
Wow.
weren't sure how to get the message across better. So they would like to come to the board meeting and discuss further.
They were mostly filled when I went to those meetings in November and December.
What's interesting
How
about
many units will there be?
I think that's changing, that's evolving as the plans go on. They're assessing the property and where the wetlands are, and
But it's
Isn't
more
it
than 12.
Kriskowski's?
I think so, yes. What's interesting about the units is they're somewhere between 700 square feet to 1,200 square feet. They're a good option, it seems like, if you're looking to downsize. They're not these huge apartments. So I will extend an invitation, if it's all right.
Do we have any idea of the cost?
They could probably. propose it.
Yes, they'll let you know. I don't think I have it written down at the moment. Yeah, I think it's better information coming directly from them. They have decided to name it the Hager Homestead, which they said has some historical significance to that property. Anyone familiar?
Hager, I know the Hager, of the Hager family.
Oh,
but
maybe that must have been, maybe where they lived
Yeah,
originally.
Maybe. I know the name.
Yeah, there's some historical significance.
And are there going to be any units that are affordable?
Yes.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear from them, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, so we'll,
So
assuming.
we're going on the board agenda at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, assuming at next meeting, if we don't get, board meetings don't get
That's
canceled
my,
too.
Right.
that's
So
my
we'll
next
see.
thing.
Well, we'll see what happens with that, because I'm sure the selectmen will be, that's a selectman's decision about board meetings and what should be going on with all of that, so.
Right.
Right, but are we considered non-essential?
Well, that's their decision. It's not ours.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's the Board of Selectmen's decision.
If you flip over my report and just look at the back page, the amount of people that came into our space, 1,025 in February.
Wow.
That's a lot of people coming and going. That's over 1,000 check-ins throughout February. And I think the building was open 18 days during that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, we're not non-essential.
How do we keep track of, I mean, where do we get that number from?
Sign-in sheets.
Oh, okay.
And, just so you know, they're not 100% accurate, because some
Right.
people don't
Don't
sign
sign
in.
in.
That's why it'd be so nice when we do have our own senior center and we have the little
Swipe.
swipe
Swipe
thing,
thing.
so people will get an accurate count on
Right.
participation.
Right. Rides provided is a little down due to weather, due to the holiday, due to our van has broken down a couple times. So our blue van that we were looking to replace it's just not working at all, period, right now. Our other van that we leased from Mart has been in and out of service, and it's in service again as of 9 o'clock this morning. Had to get towed from Westford
Oh,
back
gee.
to Fitchburg and Mart, and they gave us a loaner van. So we're having some difficulty with these vehicles. But we'll get a new van eventually and get that straightened out.
Do we have any idea on the time frame for that new van?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You're still doing all of the stuff with the vans? It's not a separate entity now? Your office is still handling all of the rides and with the problems with Mart and getting them to either replace or properly repair or?
So Crosstown Connect is our dispatching service. So they do all the scheduling and making the manifests every day.
Yeah,
But we
but the vans themselves are still.
Call Mart, schedule the
used.
service, do the maintenance. Yes.
Now, the blue van that's not working at all, is it dead or is it repairable?
That's a good question. I'm not an expert in that field, so I can't say for sure right now. We're trying to get it to a place to be checked out, but there is some rust and corrosion going on that I don't know if it's repairable at this point, but I will keep you updated on that. Nicole is not here. She created the outreach report. Amy doesn't have anything pressing to add, but we assisted 349 people in the month of February.
Been busy.
I know, my gosh.
Are you bored, Amy, or are you?
Never bored.
It was only higher last July. Oh, no, wait a minute, no, 360 in August, too. But gee, that's a big number.
Yeah. So, any questions about the numbers, the report, the information?
So all the upcoming programs are now all on hold?
Well, we don't know yet, we have to wait to hear what this
I am not canceling anything in April. I'm going to try to take it a snapshot at a time. We'll see what the selectmen recommend tonight in conjunction with the Board of Health and go from there. I don't want to go crazy with this. I just want to do what we need to do in the moment.
So would
March
you,
is what we're looking at.
I'm looking at March right now.
Okay.
so we were gonna talk about mindful movement on our show,
Mhm.
which is in April. Do you still want that included in the show?
I
Or
think-
just talk about safety?
No, I think we can talk about mindful movement because that's going to be continuing a few sessions all year long because we have the grant to pay for multiple sessions this year.
And the lunch ones too, can we do those? We were gonna discuss the
Learn and learn.
learn and lunch,
Lunch and learn.
lunch and learn ones. Do you wanna still talk about that or no?
We could. Yeah, they will be, everything will be rescheduled. Everything,
Some of our script just
yeah,
came back.
yeah. Right.
We'll talk that with
Even
her.
if we don't have it on that specific day, will happen.
Okay.
All right. Do I have a motion to accept the director's report and the outreach coordinator's report?
So
Combined
moved.
into one, right?
You don't get to say anything?
She did. She didn't have anything to
So
say.
moved.
I heard.
Second.
Ann Lee seconded this time. All right, all those in favor of accepting the reports?
Hi.
Aye, that was a unanimous vote. Sue, thank you. All right, is there any other business that needs to come before the board? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And I have a motion to adjourn the meeting. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?